Hi guys, and welcome back to Hoss of Bentley. This video is going to be super awesome. I love the holidays. I'm a festive little heifer, let me tell you. But this year, in honor of my YouTube channel and 100 subscribers, which I am close to getting, so thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel and watched my videos, shared them, commented, liked them, whatever you've done to be a part of the Hoss of Bentley family, darling. I must say thank you so much. It is so exciting now that I actually started a YouTube channel in 1 year, and then I might be actually getting 100 subscribers before the end of it. Who knew that I was doing something at all correct? I watch a lot of YouTube, so it's refreshing to see that, like, you know, if you really do love something, that people will, you know, I don't know, subscribe to it if they also like it. So this video is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be giving you guys some warm, I don't even know, actually haven't done my face yet, as you can see, so yeah, I probably should do my intro after everything, so I'm actually going to switch to that. Alright guys, so here's obviously the look that I was talking about, I was just saying, you know, and this just kind of gave me some warm vibes, some welcome to the holidays, some gifts and happiness and hot cocoa. It's one thing I like about the cold. Makes you want to be closer to your friends and family. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to see how I got this look, please keep watching. So starting off, we just grabbed the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, placing this under the eyes, forehead, on the chin, and on the under jaw as well. Making sure that's all prepped in and primed in and patted in and all that jazz. It's a really great primer. I've been using it all year and I love it so much. I'm now using the Grande Lash MD Lash Enhancing Serum on my lashes. I've been using this for a little while now, and the video for this is coming. It's just that I really would like to know how well it's working, and I obviously should try something for more than 30 days before I release a video on it. So we're still working on that. Now I just grabbed my Laura Mercier translucent powder in the shade Deep, and I'm just putting this all over my primer. Jackie Aina, of course, obviously made this super known by everyone else in the world. She actually started this technique, and it just ensures that my foundation, concealer, and everything that's liquid that goes on top of my very oily skin just sits into place. It's just awesome. I love it. I use it every single time I do my makeup. I use it on anyone who has oily skin, and even if they have combination skin. If it's oily in the middle, I do this in the middle and not on the outsides, and I make sure that it's nice and moisturized on the outsides. Anyway, this is literally my favorite trick. I do it every time, and it just makes sure I look flawless. Next, we are using the shade Beautiful Bronze in the LA Girl Pro Concealer. I like to use 1 to 3 concealers. It really depends on the amount of coverage I'm wearing and what kind of look I'm going for. I wanted a high coverage look today, but I wanted to make sure that it was layered very well. So this very skin tone matching concealer was perfect for getting that done. Now we are moving on to a very fantastic bronzer. I love this step in my makeup routine. It is almost like I like to layer things. I know I work with liquids and then powders and then liquids and then powders, but it works for my skin, and it works for making sure that I have neither too little or too much of either or on my face. Using the Artisan Color Baked Blush in 8306 Toasted Almond, we are just finishing up the bronzing of the face before moving on to the highlighting. This is a NYX palette that I use every time that I do my brows. I love it, and it has like 6 shades. It's called the Conceal Correct Contour, and I just love it. I like to use the brightening shade to go under my eye and really give a good contour to my nose as well. Sometimes if I want something really defined on the sides of my face by my cheekbones or under my cheekbones, I will under highlight as well, but I didn't really want something so crazy for that today. So then I'm going in with the Age Rewind by Maybelline, and I'm really just going ahead and adding that like caramely shade in all of the places that I didn't want something that was entirely too highlighted, but I do want something that's highlighted more than a concealer that matches my skin tone. Using a dampened beauty blender, we are just blending out a lovely set of concealers. So like I said, we were using the NYX one, and we originally used the LA Girl Pro Concealer. The shade we used in the Age Rewind was Hazelnut, and as you saw, I sprayed my face down before using my dampened beauty blender. That was the Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray, which is also a part of my skincare. I use that not even as a setting spray, but like a mist for my face to make sure my concealer doesn't get too dry. Sometimes I like to let them sit, and I'll spray that to just give give them a level of creaminess as they dry. It's like my middle ground, almost just like the concealers. The hazelnut is my middle ground. The NYX one was super bright, and that one was more or less like my super highlighted shade. And then there's the one that's my skin tone, which is the lower one, more closer to the lowest of all of the highlighting, brightening, or contouring. That one is purely for coverage and beauty. So we're just finishing up the last bit of concealer here, and I like to bring this very high up on my upper cheekbone to give myself more of a facelift. And I also like to make sure that I always work my concealer in from the outside in to my under eye, because I always have the highlighted color closest to my under eye, and I want to keep it there so that it has a nice tapered and seamless blend. Here we're just moving back into that bronzer, which obviously, like I said, is a blush, but this Toasted Almond blush is sickening for adding some really good warmth back into my chocolatey skin. I use a very golden undertone for my concealer to outline my brows, and sometimes, as you saw, do my highlighting. So this is very much needed to balance out the skin tones in my face and the coloration, obviously. A clean blending brush goes a very long way here. I'm just really cleaning up the edges of my brows where it's been outlined with that NYX palette I was referring to earlier. And I'm really just going around and making sure everything's nice and seamless before I go in and set with my Laura Mercier powder. This is in the shade Deep, and I simply love this synthetic brush as well. It is by Morphe, and I love this brush for a lot of reasons outside of its synthetic bristles, which obviously make it really good for sweeping away translucent powder. It's also good for placing it, carving, such as boom. Yep, that part. So it's really great at that, and it also is great at sweeping away the powder. I just love that brush. By the way, the name of that Morphe brush is an M438. The brush I'm using to do all of my bronzing is a brush that I covered in a Sheen haul that I did. So that is a Sheen makeup brush. I then use this same brush actually to contour my nose a little tiny bit. I just squeeze the edges of the brush and get down the bridges of that nose, which is why I like to use a light bright concealer on the actual bridge of my nose, so that it really gives a great definition and shows up very well when I go to do this specific step with this specific blush, aka bronzer. Now we're going in with some contour, and this is technically a Sephora palette. I think the top may have had the names on it because it certainly doesn't have any names anymore, but it is the very much darkest shade in the Sephora palette, and it is a Palette Contour Visage contour palette. I love this palette. I use it a lot because only a few of them go deep enough to be a great contour shade for me, and this is one of them. So here we're just using an unnamed brush by an unnamed company because I do not remember where or how I even ended up with this brush. Anyway, I'm bringing that contour seamlessly down to actually kind of like in my chin, almost in some weird sculpted way. It just looks good on me, I find. I don't know why, but I think it's because of the way my face is shaped. I'm also, of course, doing my jaws, my under jaw, my back jaw, the temples of my forehead, the sides of my nose. Everywhere that I've been bronzed, mostly, is gonna be contoured. Except I've noticed that for my cheekbones in particular, I like to keep my contour closest to my hairline and not so far into the front of my face. I don't like for people to see my contour when they're looking at me head on only from when I turn to the side. It gives the illusion that my makeup is effortless, blended, and tapered into some perfect chic blend that could only be achieved by just simply being beautiful. You could never do that with makeup, of course. So using the fabulous The Zulu by Juvia's palette, I do actually use a brown shade out of there. It's the only brown in the palette actually. And I do use that to like kind of give myself a little bit of a warmer brown before moving on to my eyeshadow. So speaking of eyeshadow, there we are with that fabulous same clean blending brush that we were using earlier to make sure that everything was seamless. That same brush we are using to apply the shade Blazing from our fabulous Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette. I use this palette all the time, but I specifically love the Blazing Orange in here. It's warm, vibrant, sexy, fabulous. Works for my black skin. It's just lovely. I do bring this out a little bit, wing it out with that, as you can see, wing it out towards the brow and towards the temple of my side, I don't know, the side of my brow. And then I'm going to pick up the yellow, as you saw. That's the same Zulu palette that warmed up my skin for my contour, and that yellow is like warming up basically the orange that I use. So far we've got a little sexy sunset situation going on in the transition shade department. Okay? Okay. So as you saw, I picked up the shade Blazing and I was really placing that under my eye, more close to the outer portion of my eyeball. I like to place it in the inner corner as well, but more or less pack it on and make sure that it's more pigmented towards the outer corner, because I then like to place that same exact color on the top as well. It gives it like a more bright from within, or makes your eyes seem bigger from within situation. But obviously the holiday edition, that's all warm and sexy and festive. So we're just going to pack that color on there and bring it into the transition shade a little bit, into the crease a little bit, but mostly keep it on the outer V of that eyeball there. And blend, 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 people. There is no such thing as too much blending, honey. If there is too much blending and your color does go away for some reason, add more color. But definitely don't blend to keep your color, because then you'll have color that's not blended. And that's not cute. I do look at people and I do kind of throw shade in my head. I just don't say it out in public because it's rude and unnecessary, and people are going to do what they want to do and you shouldn't judge them. But I still do if you have unblended color. So don't do that. So using that brown, we're just blending that in. I like to place that on the outer corner of my eyeball first with a nice targeted brush. Pretty sure I'm going to pick it up here soon. Yep, there it is. That brush is what I like to place it with, and then I like to blend it with my crease brush. And then I'm going to pick up the Modern Renaissance palette, which is where it really gets fun, because now we're picking up a couple of red colors. And we're adding some like very dark, vampy, sexy cranberry colors in there. Pretty sure the two shades we used are Venetian Red and Love Letter, I'm pretty sure is what they're called. And they're just simply perfect together. They're nice apart, but together they do a little bit more damage for me. Love Letter adds the pop of punch that I need, while Venetian Red adds that vampy blood, you know, depth that I need. And I need both of those to give this like almost smoked out liner a chance to really compete with that beautiful transition shade that I created. So taking a small brush, and I'm just going to wing that out and then smoke it out with my crease brush. I'm going to then place it again, wing it out, and smoke it out with my crease brush. That way I don't lose the color, but I still keep the shape. Now we're moving into an even smaller brush and a fantastic highlighter. Some people like to use shimmers, some people like to use glitters. I like to use highlighters, especially when I'm going for like a softer glam. This is not soft glam to me, but this is a softer glam. And this is the Urban Decay Illuminated Highlighter, Naked. Yes, God. I love this highlighter. It's fantastic. It's in the shade Lit, and I'm just taking this on a very small brush that's got like, I don't know, almost like a fin type of shape, like a dolphin fin situation shape. Just like a small targeted brush so that I could get like right in my crease. So I'm basically placing this right where my eyeball meets the socket of my crease. And I'm creating a fake cut crease. And I'm just blending it back towards that like red that I've done. But I'm not really trying to like create some crazy amazing crease with concealer and a base. I'm just gonna fake it with this amazing highlighter. So because I used all matte everything, I made sure that my face was very matte. It's the reason why I think the highlighter really does a great job of playing a great role as a shimmer or even a glitter on this eyeshadow look. Not only does it blend well into my skin tone because of its properties as a highlighter, but it's golden, you know, so it just really works with the color scheme too. As you can see, I'm then just packing on some more of that red. That way the, you know, anything that's a fallout from the highlighter and the glitter elements doesn't really take away from the mattness of the smoked out eyeshadow eyeliner that I've created today. I really want that to like pop on top of that gold. So even once I put on a lash, you can see it, and that it really just makes a big bold statement, you know, whenever I look down or look to the side. It's almost like you didn't notice it was there. So here we're just blending in a little bit more with that blazing and just really bumping up the volume at the edges of my eye before taking that same Venetian red and the Love Letter shade and using that on the outer corners towards the inner corner of my underlid as well. At this point, we are just making sure everything looks great as far as color payoff and blendability. So I'm just going back and forth with the shade Blazing on the same brush that I used to originally apply it under my eye, as well as the Venetian Red and Love Letter. Here we're just moving on to some eyeliner. I wasn't gonna add a wing, I was kind of gonna leave it there, but I just wanted a little bit more like drama. And so I went ahead and added another level of color with just like a jet black liner. And I'm just doing like a lifted wing. There's so many different kinds of wings that I like to do on my eye, but this one I felt like would be the perfect kind of wing because it just lifts everything versus wings out your eye. And it would really just set everything off because I had decided at this point that I was going to wear a lash. So I'll be applying that off camera and you guys will see that when I'm done. And I'm pretty sure that I use a little bit of black eyeshadow to really set this and make this liner pop. And not only that, but just up the matte ability. Not that this liner isn't matte, I just obviously like a matte shadow on top of a liner. It obviously ensures it, and it kind of sets the liner into place too. You also can like smoke it out a little bit if you want to. So I'm just using a NYX brow brush right here because it's stiff, thin, and it really can make sure that I pack the hell out of that black eyeshadow on there. You know, smoke it out, make it look sexy, all those good things. So here you have your Thrive Cosmetics mascara. I've used this before. I actually have a whole video on this. I still love this mascara. Come on bottom lashes, come on top lashes. Now, as you can see, my lashes already look fire, but I didn't actually apply that much mascara because I knew I was going to put these lashes on. Now that I'm done with them, I'm just going back over it with the two brushes I used to straighten up the red and straighten up the highlighter. I want to make sure it's just popping to the gods and that the liner, the glue, and the hassle of sometimes me getting them on doesn't get in the way of that before adding highlighter. And I'm using the same thing that I used on my face. I'm just using a tapered blending brush for your eyes actually, and it is the perfect shape to just like get on my face and just like lightly give me a dusting of fairy awesomeness in the Tinkerbell department with this gold. I look lit, I feel lit, I look warm, I look, you know, like I'm about to go to somebody's Thanksgiving dinner and slay some shit in some red bottoms. Probably velvet ones or suede because it's that time of year for a good pair of velvet socates. Would you like to throw on a scarf, you know? Cashmere. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to my channel, then by all means do so because you've watched like 6 videos. I don't even have that many videos for you to watch so far, so you might as well just jump along the bandwagon and help me get to 100 subscribers, which I will be celebrating. I'm not sure how things are going to go, but who cares? You know, I made it to 90 something, 92, I don't remember, but it's over 90 and that's really, really nice. And I'm sure there's a subscribe button somewhere. Other than that, stay safe and wear a mask. Bye now.